Okay, in this part of the lesson, we're going to be working on finding missing parts of similar solids. So you're going to want a calculator with this, otherwise you're going to be doing some cross multiplying and dividing. So just to review that skill, a skill that you guys learned in 7th grade was when you would set up proportions. Okay, you could either check to see what they did to the 4 to get the 28, which works great when it's whole numbers, but that's not always going to be the case. Otherwise, the other method you used is you cross multiplied, where you had two numbers diagonal, and then you divided by the third number. So if I were to do the cross multiply divide on this, we would do 28 times 3 and then divide that by 4, which would give me 21 for m. Okay, so you're going to be using this concept in this part of the lesson. Okay, so reviewing that cross multiply divide. Okay, so when we set up proportions, we have to make sure, key thing that we just practiced, to match our dimensions. So we're going to be given figures. We're going to make sure we match dimensions, and then we're going to do our cross multiply divide concept. Okay, so let's pull out this first one. So here we have what you would call triangular prisms. They are similar to each other. So we know that they are similar. We're not checking to see if they are. We know they are. So because they're similar, we should be able to find a missing dimension. So here, if we were to go through and find B, H, or C, so we could actually, on this one, I can go ahead and do all three of them. We just need to have the two pieces, the same two pieces from each figure. So if I was going to find B, for example, I'm going to use the 7.5 that is given and B. So I'll do that back part, 7.5 over B. And then I'm going to pull the same two dimensions off of my other figure. So my 5 and my 12. Key thing that we are matching this side to this side. Okay, are they in the same position? Yes, B is in the same position as 12. Okay, so now to solve this, we're going to cross multiply and then divide by the third. So I'm going to do 12 times 7.5, and then I'm going to divide that by 5. And when I do that, I get 18. So my answer for this is 18. Okay, so now I can either continue to use the same original setup, or I can use different numbers, different sides. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue to use the 7.5 just because that's what I'm comfortable with, and that's the same as the 5. So I'm going to do 7.5 over, this time I want to figure out H is equal to, okay, the same side as the 7.5 was this 5. So that's my top. And then the same side as the H was 6. So I'm going to put 6 here. So now we'll cross multiply divide. So we'll multiply the two diagonal, divide by the third. So 6 times 7.5, divide that by 5, gives me 9. So I just found out that H equals 9. Okay. So I'm still going to use my 7.5. And this time we'll go over C because I want to figure out C. And that is equal to, well, the 7.5 is equal to this 5 over C is the same as 13. Okay, we'll cross multiply divide 13 times 7.5. And then we're going to divide that by 5. Gives me 19.5 for this. Okay, so that's working with finding that missing dimension. Once again, making sure that we are matching sides. That is the most important, and then using that cross multiply divide method. Okay, so here they want us to find the length and the width. Okay, so let's go ahead and use 11 and 8. So we'll figure out I can't do 11 and 8. Sorry, we're going to have to do, because I have both of those missing on the other one, so I have to figure one of them. Let's do the height, because that's the same as this, and we'll figure the width first. Okay, so I have 20 over 8. Okay, I pulled out of the first one. That's what I'm pulling these two. And then that's the same as 8 over W. Okay, this 8 and this W are in the same position. They're in the same position in their proportions. So 8 times 8 is 64, divided by 20 gives me 3.2. So I just found out that W equals 3.2. Okay, so now I'm still going to use, let's do red. We'll do our length as red. So this time I'm going to do 20 and 11. So 20 over 11 is equal to 8 is the same as 20 on my smaller figure over L. So 8 times 11 is 88 divided by 20 gives me 4.4. So I just found out that L is 4.4. And these are inches. Okay, so that's what you're doing, going through and working with finding that missing figure, is making sure that you set up your proportions so that the dimensions are in the same position. And then using that cross multiply divide. Okay, so here I want you guys to go ahead, pause your video and try this one out. You don't have to do any figuring other than setting it up as a proportion and then using cross multiply divide. Go ahead and pause your video and work through this one. Okay, so I found out that my slant length there, which is what that little L represents, a slant, is 18.2 yards. Okay, I set it up as slant length over radius. So I was missing my slant length on my bigger one, but my radius was 7, and then I cross multiplied divide. Most important part, make sure that you're matching dimensions and then using that cross multiply divide method.